Sometimes he'll use that lick and go into a single string run, something like this. And what I'm doing there is the first lick that I showed you. Open second string, and then I go to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And I can hit that open 2nd string, and then into my G bend. Something like that, where I'm doing a rapid lick with the double stop, and I'm picking. You can do a lot of different ideas with that. But that really kind of loud sound, you know, T-bone or Gatemouth Brown in his playing, you get that from those open strings. Now you could do this in the key of E, but I think it sounds so much better when you move it up, or move it up and play in keys like G, B flat. Then that lick sounds really, it's got kind of a higher, more of a piercing sound to it. Gets your attention a lot faster. Now something else he does with that is he goes to the 1st string, so something like this. And he can do all kinds of stuff. So I'm doing that same lick, and I'm going to the 3rd fret, and then I'm going open 1st string, and then 3rd fret of the 1st string, open. And you can come all the way back, something like that. But there's lots of possibilities. So what I'm trying to get you to do is to listen to Gatemouth Brown's playing and see if you can hear that lick and how it's being used, and then make up your own ways to use it. And when I play, I don't want to sound just like Gatemouth Brown, but if I'm playing a tune where I've got a capo on and I'm playing with a big group or something, it's kind of cool to throw in some of those licks in the midst of a solo. Now another one that he does quite a bit is kind of a similar thing, but this time on the 1st and the 2nd strings. Something like this. And if you remember, if you've done my lessons on Johnny Guitar Watson and Guitar Slim, those guys use the same basic lick. So what it really is a double stop where you go to the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th fret of the 2nd string. That's with the capo, playing in G. And then you got your open string again, giving it some power. So you got this. And you can do this in lots of different ways. One of my favorites, there's a tune, well, I can't remember which tune it is. He's got some, I'll give you some suggested tunes here at the end to hear some of these licks. And he does something like this. Just over and over again. So I'm sliding from the 3rd to the 5th fret on the 2nd string, and I'm hitting that 1st string open as I do that. You hear this sound? Here it is without the open string. Here it is with the open string. And I'm getting an open 1st string, 3rd fret of the 1st string, open. And I can even combine that 1st and 2nd string lick with the one we learned before on the 2nd and 3rd string, something like this. Either way. One thing he does is sometimes he'll play on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, and then very quickly slide down, come or up, back down again. Something like that. Like that. So those are some really cool Gatemouth Brown type licks that you can work into your playing. So you got the, and you got this one. All kinds of stuff. So those are a couple double stop type things. Now there's some other things that you can do. And looking at my list over here, try not to forget things. When he goes into his solos, every now and then he'll throw in these high note things. This is something that Ike Turner and a lot of these guitar players do to add some dynamics to their solos. So if you're playing out of a first position E, which is a G, we can go all the way up here to the 15th fret, which is now the 12th fret. And you can get that high note. Something like that. You can also go 16th fret, 12th, 13th, 15th fret. And get all kinds of stuff. So what we're doing here is going to the 12th, 15th fret on the first string. Now he does that in a couple different songs in a couple different ways, but that's another Gatemouth idea that you can pick up on pretty easily. So that's out of the first position. That's out of our G, because we got the capo. Okay, something else that I picked up from Gatemouth Brown's playing is some of the bass lines that he uses in his songs. And there's a tune called Boogie Uproar, which is a great instrumental. He does a lot of these licks in that song. And he does this opening lick and does it at the end of the song too, something like this. Does this weird bend in there. I've never heard anyone else do that. If you're familiar with the boogie riff, it's just the open 6th, 4th fret of the 6th, 2nd fret of the 5th string, 4th fret, and he kind of pauses, goes to the 2nd fret of the 3rd, 4th string. Sometimes he does that a little differently. Or I'm going back to the 4th fret of the 6th string, and then to the ending up on the 2nd fret of the 5th string, like this. Then he goes to the A or the 4. This time I'm going to go everything the same, then I'm going to slide or just kind of drop down here or up here to the 5th fret of the 4th string. And back to the 1. And then when I go to the 5, I'm going to start open. Sorry, 2nd fret of the 6th string, 4th fret, open 5th string, 1st fret, 2nd fret of the 5th string, open. But Gatemouth Brown does, a lot of times you'll hear, like Guitar Slim would do this. Something like that. Gatemouth Brown does this. Whoops, let me do that again. So he's going to the 1st fret of the 6th string, and he bends it, pulls down on it, and open. So like this. Whatever he does after that. So in some of Gatemouth Brown's songs, you'll hear him use those little boogie lines. And again, if you're playing with the capo, you're just doing what you would do, excuse me, in the key of E. Now before we wrap it up, excuse me, some other ideas. When he plays over the 4, a lot of times, with the capo, he'll play in this A7th position. So if I make an A7th chord, which is now a C7, because we're playing with the capo, I've got this little run which just follows that A7th chord. So when he's doing his solos, one thing I noticed listening to his Peacock recordings is a lot of times he'll just stay in that when that song is on the 4. Stay in that same area. Right there. That's another simple Gatemouth Brown idea or concept. Now these licks here, I don't know how many I had. These are some of the signature licks that you hear over and over again. Some Gatemouth Brown songs that I really like that have a lot of this stuff in there. There's a tune called Boogie Uproar. I mentioned that one before. There's one called Midnight Hour. There's one called Sad. Let me find my list here. Good Looking Woman has some cool licks in it. Midnight Hour, that's the one I was looking for. Boogie Uproar, got that one. There's one called She Winked Her Eye. Daddy Daddy Yar. It's kind of a funny name for a song, but it's a great song. And there's another one called Dirty Work at the Crossroads, which is an awesome song for some of his really cool signature licks. So those are just a few ideas from the playing of Gatemouth Brown. By no means a complete or meticulous study of his playing, but I think a few ideas that if you want to figure out his stuff and his style, you can use this and get a good start. Also, if you want to use some of those licks, especially the ones with the open strings playing out of the capo, I think those are some really cool licks that you don't hear too many really so-called modern blues guitar players. You don't hear them using stuff like that. A lot of times guys just stay on the single string runs and the bends, and it's really cool to get some double stops and some chord fills and all, mix it up a little bit, get some variety into your playing. Hope you found this lesson helpful. If you have any questions, comments, be sure to contact me, and I'll be back again soon with another lesson. See you later.